got my microphone firing up here. Good morning. Good morning. Just a little bit. I think I like it when it's kind of like this. All in my face. Hello, good morning. Good morning. I hope that you're doing well out there. I am, let's see, gonna chat. Go in my chat. I am feeling pretty good this morning. Hey, what's going on, Tawny? Good to see you. Good to see you today. Today's Saturday, and I'm gonna do a Saturday Q&A. I usually come on here and I talk about something that's related to friendships and relationships. Of course, that is what it is. It's friendship Q&A. Um, Patterns of possibility. I need to switch this. What's going on? Nothing much. Let me mirror this. There we go. So you can actually see this. Patterns of possibility. Those who are on YouTube. Let me see. Get that little circle that's out of there. A little thing. Oh no. My lighting set up. Now I just made it. It didn't make it worse, but it did fix it. It did fix it. Okay, let's try one more time. One more time. All right, there we go. There we go. I'm doing just as good as can be. Got to work later on today, so just enjoying the morning. That's good to know, Tony. I'm glad that you're enjoying the morning. I'm enjoying the morning too. Uh, so yeah, I nothing much came in the other day. I didn't realize that you were sisters, but they said you're a sister because I started to share your story a little bit um, about your friend who is no longer a friend, which is a situation that happened. You know, sometimes we gotta let go of these people. It's the hardest thing to do. It's to let go of some people too. But like I've seen so many TikToks because I'm on this app so much, it steals so much of my time. I mean, I'm willingly give it so much of my time. But it is I'm on TikTok so much and I just see like, man, there's so many people who are saying, look, I can't believe that I was friends with this person for so long. After they just get a new perspective. Like this person was disrespectful, they were rude, they were inconsiderate, they were nothing that I think I deserve today. So, boom, get rid of those people. Get rid of those people. But like I said, I am going to allow y'all to ask your questions. And if I hear something that might be, you know, I mean, if y'all want to talk about something in particular, I'm gonna let y'all ask these questions, and of course, we'll go to the board if necessary. So I write on the board what's going on with me. But also, I wanted to put out there that today I have a presentation. It's business focused. It's about networking because I help people in their personal and professional lives. So create those meaningful connections. I have a presentation at the TransTech Summit that's happening today at 3:20 Central Standard Time. But you can enjoy the summit because it happened. It started yesterday and it's continuing on. Well, it happened. Yeah, it happened yesterday. Is continuing on throughout the day today. And you can actually go to the summit for free based on the link in my profile. So just go to the link in my profile. It's usually $400. But I have a special link that you can just go ahead and sign up, and you're going to get all kinds of great information. If you're curious about technology, if you're a transgender person like I am, this space is absolutely for you. They do it once a year. So I highly encourage you to check that out. And then also my talk is going to happen at 3:20 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm pretty geared up for that. I'm happy about doing that and to talk about how we network, how to create the best networks for you, and how to get people. So this is really business focused, but it's developing these relationships with people so that you can create these connections with people who will champion your business for you, who will help and support you. It's the same thing that you want to be around friends who support and appreciate you. You also want to be around people who are business focused, and they're focused on supporting you. They want to support you. Coach Lee was talking about you. Yep. Yeah. It is validating. I'm glad that you feel validated about this. What's going on, Boy Wonder? I see some of y'all in the chat. I appreciate y'all being here. So what y'all want to talk about? Because today is a Q&A. Today's a Q&A. I get to answer your questions about your relationships, whatever it is that's going on in your mind, whatever you got to share. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate that. Attracting more people, liking, sharing. It really helps to spread this message. Because I think my goal, my intention with doing these kind of lives and sharing my information and connecting with people is to help them understand that, well, we don't have to put up with people who don't appreciate us, and that there is something on the other side. And we can stop trying to change people. We can stop trying to adjust them to make them be somebody we want them to be. And we are more powerful when we make that change ourselves. We realize that we don't want this thing. It's like an attachment. We don't want this character. We don't want these attributes to this character, rather. It's like we like you as a person. I mean, we kind of think that you could be a great friend, but the way you treat me isn't acceptable. And instead of continuing to tell them how it's not acceptable for them to treat you the way that they're treating you, you can let go. That's a concept that is just terrifying to a lot of people, including me. You can just let go of those people. Or if you really want these people in your life, you can let go of the concept or the idea that they have to be different, and you make all the changes. You put up with them being late. You put up with them being unsupportive. You put up with them being disrespectful. You just recognize that that is a part of their character and that's their personality. And you're just like, oh, that's what they do. I'm willing to do all this to keep them in my life. That's hard. I don't, I mean, it's an option, but it's not something that I recommend. I mean, for people who are really close, for people who are at a distance, for people who are like out there somewhere, your coworkers or your supervisors or distant relatives, these people you don't have to interact with quite often. That's cool. You can have that kind of mentality for those people. But for those people who you want close, if you have to do so much adjustment, if you can't be your authentic self, if you can't express how you feel about their behaviors and be heard and understood, then it's not a real kind of relationship. It's not a close, it won't be a satisfying friendship. It won't be a satisfying connection with you, whether it's your friends or your family members or coworkers or business partners. To some degree, we want to be able to express how we feel and have that heard by the other person. That's what really creates a meaningful connection. And that's the whole message that I want to share with other people. So if you got questions, please feel free to ask your questions. What's going on, Cosmic? Good to see you this morning. Good to see you. So if you got questions or comments, I'm live. I'm live on X. People call it X. People really call it X, Twitter. It's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I'm live on these channels too, so I'm out there sharing this information as far and wide as possible. Because if they do better, they'll do better by you when you run into them. Everybody who gets this information will be able to realize that they have a part to play in the kind of relationships that they have. Tony asked, is it gonna be so hard every time? Yes. Initially, it's gonna be difficult. It's like riding a bike. Why did I come up with that analogy? But it's like riding a bike, man. Like you get on and you don't have the balance and you don't know what to do. It's like learning any kind of skill and you fall over. You got those training wheels. It hurts when you try to do it this way. You're frustrated because it doesn't work out the way that you want it to. But then, boom, you start getting the hang of it. You start getting the hang of it. You feel that wind in your hair and you be like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm riding. It's fantastic. I love the way this feels, the independence. I'm doing it all by myself. And you're riding on the bike. And as far as, your relationships and separating from people and telling them how you feel, once you start doing it and you start actually having the experience and realizing that you're not going to die and they're not going to explode, or the situation isn't going to be absolutely dire where you can't recover, You're going to realize, like, oh, I could have done this before. I should have done this sooner. Or, man, I'm going to do this all the time. I'm not going to put up with things that don't feel good to me because it feels awful. I know what it's like to actually meet people who understand, who appreciate, who accept me. I know what it's like to do that. So I'm not going to put up with anything else. You just won't. After you learn this, after you've had this experience, if you had some really fancy, delicious, delicate dish, you won't go back to eating just 49-cent ramen noodles. You don't want to go back. Once you have an experience in which you know that you can create that feels good, you'd wonder, why would you ever want to feel like garbage? Why would you ever want to be around people who don't understand, who are committed to hurting you or misunderstanding you or not appreciating you? You wouldn't want to go back to doing that kind of stuff. Like, to be able to express myself and have people listen, it is difficult. Because right now, I imagine, and this is what I work through, I talk about energies and I talk about the spirituality and vibrations and frequencies on some level. It's all related on this level. But right now, you and I, well, I used to have a mindset in which nobody will appreciate, nobody will understand me. And I would just surround myself with people like, oh, it just seems like it always happens and I'm frustrated. It's always happening because you carry a belief, or I carried a belief back there that was like, look, nobody's going to understand or appreciate or accept me. And so I keep running into those people. And once we work and you change that belief and you realize that when you start saying things like, when I speak, people listen. What does it look like when people listen to me? And you start checking for that. It's like, well, these are the kind of places I go. And when I speak, they don't listen. So I won't be in those places where people will hear me speak and they don't listen or they don't consider. I'll go to a different place. And you start finding yourself in different places where people appreciate you and accept you and understand what you're talking about. So at first, it gets pretty difficult. At first, it's difficult, but after a while, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. You're going to be able to recognize those people from a mile away. What made you realize you wanted to go into life coaching? When I started to feel good, I used to feel terrible. I used to feel really awful about my existence. Just like, nobody likes me, nobody cares about me, nobody appreciates me. I'm smart, but I'm also like just not up to par. I don't have any confidence. I can't do anything right. And all these things happen. And I went to therapy, and I spent like 4 years in group therapy, and I learned a lot about cognitive behavioral therapy and positive psychology. My thoughts started to change, my experiences, and I started to like just feel good. I started to feel okay about talking about me to other people. And I wanted to open up and I wanted to be heard. After I experienced that myself, I'm realizing, because I went out there on the scene to meet people on the scene, but I went out to make friends, right? So there's one experience that I had. I went to a comedy club. I went to a comedy club, and it was pretty dope. It was like, cool, I like comedy, and I thought, well, I'm gonna go with this positive psychology. I'm gonna meet somebody new, just like the law of attraction. I meet somebody new. I'm gonna have a conversation with them. That's my intention for being in this space. So I go, I meet somebody new, and I start talking to them, and I'm like, I'm also transgender. So I want to be open and authentic, because I figured somewhere down the road that you have to be open and authentic to make real friendships. And I thought, well, I've been hiding that for so long. I need to just tell somebody right away. And so as we have our conversation, I'm like careful about it, because this is what I teach in my coaching. I'm like careful about, sharing your authentic self with other people who don't understand you just yet, or they might be too much. So I leaned the conversation towards LGBT stuff, because I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm trans, look at me, like right away. So I leaned the conversation towards LGBT stuff, and it's cool. And it seems like, yeah, they said they don't have a problem with it. I've never seen a trans person before. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's perfect. I'm going to educate you about me and trans people in general, because you probably have a knowledge gap, new friend. I'm going to tell you about me, and then we're going to be best of friends. And so I did, and they freaked out. They were like, and they stopped talking and they just left. They left. They just so surprised to see me that they left. And so what does this have to do with this question that you asked me about why did I decide I wanted to be a life coach? Well, it's because I feel like there is something that people do want to say. Like, I think everybody wants to be understood to a deep level. They want to, as much as they understand themselves, they want someone else to understand them. And that's what I started to feel. But people have the difficulty of handling other people's emotions and even expressing themselves. And after even that rejection, that piece, I'm like, well, I still want people to know this about me. I still want that to happen. And so if other people want that to be known too, they don't know how good it feels to actually have somebody listen and accept and appreciate the words that they say, appreciate how they feel about their experiences. And it's because we haven't been taught to do that. So I just took it upon myself to be like, man, this feels really good to be able to share how I really feel and trust that this person over here that I'm talking to can handle it, can handle their emotions, can do their thing, and will hear me. It feels really good to be able to do that. But there's so many people out there who don't have that skill to be able to handle it. And I know what it's like to be able to feel good. So I want to help other people feel that connection, that community, just lacking the skill to do so. So it felt good for me, and I want to help other people feel that way too. That's what it means. I want them to be empowered so that they can go and make those connections that they're looking for. Don't put up with garbage because it's trash. It's trash. Trash garbage. What are strategies to leave a friendship? I love the guy, but it's a barest minimum. Oh, that's really great. So boy wonder, um, that's a really great question. Strategies to leave a friendship. So of course, you want to do evaluation. I like to do an evaluation. Be like, okay, what is it that I want from this friendship, and am I getting this? So there's this thing you have to know what it is that you want from other people. What do I want from this friendship? What I want from this relationship? And if you don't know, it takes some time to figure that out, but that's the key. That's where we start. That will help you remember why you were leaving, because we have this emotional piece. We have the emotion like, I've been with them for so long. I've known them for such a long time. I see the potential in them. We set ourselves up for failure every time we think about those kind of things with them. But if you know concretely what it is that you desire and what you're getting, you can do a comparison. Do a comparison. And if there's a gap, because the way you're talking, it seems like there's a gap between what you desire and what you're getting, you have to be able to express that gap to them and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for from you, because you want to give them an opportunity to adjust. Because sometimes we think that we're telling them what it is that we want from them. We think that they know, but they don't. They have no clue. We give them like side eyes and weird stares, and we give them the silent treatment, or we say things off kilter. We say random things and hoping that they will get it. But if you're not having a pointed conversation, a pointed, purposeful conversation to express the gap between what it is that you want and what you're getting, then they don't know. You have to know for certain with real words that they know what your desires are. And then you have a conversation around whether or not they're able to meet it. So that's the first step. That's where we start always. We always start right there. And then you go from there. You go from there. And if you don't get what you want, then you say something to them. If you do, then you don't. So I see there's messages coming in. I get to catch up on them. Uh let's see. Okay, so what's going on, Stanley? Rapunzel, good morning. Heather, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for liking my things. Thanks for liking my posts. Because it is hurtful to you. And I think that boy wonder, if anybody who wants to be my friend, I think about it this way: is I adopt this belief, and I encourage you to take it on too. It's that, well, my friends don't intentionally do things to hurt me. They don't. They are going to hurt me because sometimes there are missteps. They're not always thinking about me, they're thinking about them and their lives. I get that. I understand that. But they don't do things that intentionally hurt me. If they stepped on my foot because they weren't paying attention, that hurts. I got to let them know. If they've impacted me in some way that hurts me, I have to let them know because they're not really focused and paying attention to me. But as soon as I become a part of their awareness, as soon as the impact they've had on me becomes a part of their awareness, it's time for them to pay attention to where they're walking. If they're not paying attention to where they're walking, then they must not value me. They must not value me because I'm saying, hey, that hurts. Or the other thing is, or they're doing it intentionally. I have no idea which one is true. I just know that I continue to be hurt. And I express that I don't want to be hurt, and it continues to happen. That means it's time for me to make action, take action, make a change, do something. So that's what is happening with our relationships and friendships with other people. I'm horrible at making new friends. I've had a lot of bad friends who hurt me. I know that sucks. It's like, the universe works in this really fun way where it says, here are all the things that you do not want. And remember all the things that you do not want because, of course, you've been hurt. Like, yep, as soon as it's hard too to distinguish. It's hard to distinguish which person is absolutely going to hurt you and which isn't. I don't know if I can trust you because of the past relationships. You look just like the other person. You're doing similar things. You're nice at first, but I don't know. I don't know. And so we're like, I don't know if I can trust this person. I don't know if I want to be a new friend. But the universe will be like, if you would take some time to reflect on those experiences, and it's hard to do alone. I'm not going to BS you. It's really hard to do alone because they were such painful experiences that they all look like one big event. They're like one big event. It's a big cloud of mistrust and pain and hurt from different relationships that every single one looks very similar. And the ones that are coming forward, they also look like those relationships too. But we want to get really clear about some of the actions and behaviors that you experience from other people. What did you see? What did they do? How did they show up? What were some of these events that happened so that you can understand, like, okay, this is what I never want to have again. And I talk about this in the language of boundaries and making connections with people. It's really getting clear on where you begin and where they end and so forth. So understanding what it is that you desire and being able to say it in a clear, concise manner to other people so that they can do what it is that you want. And if they can't do what it is that you want, then you can either know that they're just not capable or they don't want to. And then you can make a decision whether or not you want to be with them because you are just like, oh, well, I believe in their potential. And if you believe in their potential, then don't be upset about the fact that you're not getting what you want today. Just recognize you may never get it. Stuff like that. So this is stuff I talk about. I went a little bit on a tangent over there. But if you're horrible at making new friends, I recommend that you understand more about yourself. And I have a meaningful connections journal, meaningful connections thing in my profile. You check it out. It's absolutely free. Go check that out. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the profile or there's a QR code, YouTube or any other network. There's a QR code up there, but there's a link in my profile. Go check that out. It's 50 questions to help you understand more about yourself so that you can connect with other people. Because if you're trying to get to know people, you have to give them something to know about you. And you are the litmus test. You are the litmus test. Also, I'd recommend that you check out the Escaping the Cycle of Loneliness. I think that's what it's called. Loneliness, escaping the cycle of loneliness or loneliness loop. I think it's what it's called. It's also free. It's a link in my profile. You can check that out. But it explains exactly this whole phenomenon of the things that we do over and over and over again. I've done this for decades, and it's all based on my own life experiences. I've done this for decades, these 5 things, thinking that I'm going to meet new people and make new connections. I moved from city to city to city. I moved from state to state to state, trying to find new people to connect with. And I found myself doing these same exact things. So I talk about what they are so you know where you are. And then I talk about how to get out of it. So the next things that you've got to do is to recognize something about yourself, what it is that you want, set those boundaries, but it's more detailed in the video. So I recommend that you check that out. But you will get great at making friends once you understand what it is that you're looking for, and you will not settle for less. That's why Rapunzel says, of course, it's important to love yourself first. And of course, it is important to love yourself first. That's the whole thing. You got to know what you're looking for before you can ask it of other people. Because so many times we go out there, I know I go out there, I used to go out there and it's like, oh my God, you need to give me what I want. I want something. I want to feel loved. I want to feel appreciated. Just scream it out there to the universe, scream it out there to the world. This is what I want. I want to be treated nice. I want to be treated kindly. I want to be appreciated. Well, well, what does appreciation look like to you? Because people will come all over from all over the world, all corners of the universe. They'll come out here and they'll say, "What is it that you want? I will bring you my version of that." So I tell a story so much. It's like the cake thing. I talk about this cake. If you haven't heard this cake thing, you want to stick around for this. Loving yourself can be hard. It is. It is really hard, especially because we haven't had examples of what love looks like. We haven't had examples of it. Our family of origin, if we did, we would know it, because it's like the old saying, monkey see, monkey do. We emulate what we have been taught or what we've experienced. We just absorb that experience that we've had with our parents. So if they didn't show us what a good relationship looks like, what a connecting relationship looks like, what a loving relationship looks like, or what it is to love ourselves, will love themselves. They didn't do anything for self-care. They didn't do anything to appreciate themselves or show that they have self-confidence or self-worth. If they did, they would just automatically pass that down, because we would see them and we would emulate. We would do the same things, but they don't. They haven't. I know in my experience, it's been like that. They haven't. Not saying that they didn't do a fantastic job with what they had, but that was the thing that was missing, because they're still figuring it out. They're still looking for it themselves. Mm. So when we talk about setting those boundaries and being appreciated, because we want love, we want this, and let's say we don't know what love looks like. I want to be loved, and we're out there looking for people. You, won't you love me? You, won't you appreciate you? You, won't you accept and respect me? And we're out there looking for that, and we're just screaming it from the mountaintops. And then people from all over the world, they're going to come in and they're going to give you their version of what love is. I'm going to give you the version of what love is. This is love. I'm going to punch you in the face. This is love. I'm going to be really jealous. This is love. I'm going to disregard anything that you talk about. And you're like, well, I guess this is love. I'm talking about these romantic relationships, even though I normally don't, just to make it a little more inflammatory, but reactive, that get some more of reaction, but to make the extreme difference. But people will come in, and if you, for example, understood love, let's say love is food, because this is my analogy. Now we're moving into this cake analogy. Love is food. We need food. We need love to live. Let's say that. And so everybody is like, just food. All right. So you're screaming out to the universe, to the world, I need food. I need food to eat. Somebody bring me food. And people will bring their versions of food to you. They'll bring fish. They'll bring steak. They'll bring pork chops. They'll bring a salad. They'll bring a Caesar salad. They'll bring spaghetti. They'll bring macaroni and cheese. They'll bring ribs. They'll bring pho. They'll bring whatever it is to you, right? And it's up to you to know what it is that you want. And every time somebody brings you something, these are the kind of relationships that we create. They bring you something that's not quite what it is that you want. And you go, eh. Just like, I don't want that. I don't want that. And what happens is we expect that they know, because all we said was food. They did bring you food. They brought you food. They brought you the version that they learned was food to nourish you. They did the best that they could with the information that you gave them. All you were asking for is food. And so they bring it to you and they don't like it. You don't like it. Get it out of here. And they're mad. They're frustrated. because this is what you asked for, isn't it? Turns out you don't know what it is that you want. You just don't know you now. Now you had that experience, and you know you don't want that. Get it out of here. And that's the experience that you have with most people. We expect them to be, as we continue to say, I want food. Food. There are so many things that food could be. There are so many examples. There are so many dishes out there that food could be. And they bring you all kinds. You don't like any of it. Wouldn't it be easier if you told them what it was that you wanted? Look, I want spaghetti. Not just any spaghetti, though. I want spaghetti made with a specific sauce. I want it to be meatless. I want it to have lots of onions in it. I want it to have lots of garlic and mushrooms, whatever it is that you're looking for. If you can tell them what you're looking for, then they're going to be easy. It's going to be easier for them to bring it to you, and you're going to be satisfied with what you get. If you know what you're looking for, we move into this language of boundaries. You say, these are specific actions and behaviors I want from you in this situation. I need this from you. You're going to get what you want. You're either going to see that they're not capable of doing the thing that you're looking for, or they are not interested in doing the thing. Whatever it is, you have something to evaluate against. This is the behaviors. This is what I want to see from a friend. Are they doing that thing as a friend? If not, you'd be like, get out of here. Just like, get out of here. But that's the language of boundaries. You don't know how to say, this is what I need. Instead, we say something generic like, I want love. I want appreciation. I want support. We say those kind of things when other person will bring you their version. And you'll be like, this is not what I want. You should know what I want. And you're frustrated because they didn't get it right and you can't tell them how to do it. You can't tell them. So we got to be careful. We got to be conscious of ourselves and what it is that we want. So spending time loving ourselves first, understanding, loving yourself is all understanding. And I have a yearly conference in which I talk about this stuff. Like I was shamed a lot with the love yourself first idea. Like, you have to go love yourself. That's why people treat you the way they want to, because you don't know how to love yourself. Why you put up with this kind of relationship when you know that they're bad friends? They talk about you behind your back, and they do all this. Like, okay. So I get it. Okay, I get it. So hearing all this stuff coming from other people, judging me because I don't know what loving myself is. I didn't learn it. Damn it. I didn't learn it. I don't know what it means to love myself. So then, people in my ear telling me I'm doing it wrong. How do I do it? Tell me. How do I love myself first? Well, you don't let people treat you like that. That doesn't help. Get out of my face. You don't know my experience. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know how I feel about myself. They say that they can do better. You don't know anything about our love. You don't know anything about my relationship with this person. You don't know anything about how I struggle to make friends and don't want to let go of somebody who helped me move once or twice, even though they talk stuff about me, even though they're not kind to me many times. I don't want to let go of that. You don't know anything about me and what I'm going through. Telling me to love myself. So I had this conference that's because I had that kind of experience. And I figured out that those people don't know how to do it. They're just like those people who were saying, I want love, I want support, I want appreciation. You're just those people who were screaming out, I want something generic. You got to do something generic to love yourself. What actions and behaviors can I do to demonstrate that I love myself? I always ask this question about anything I do. What are actions and behaviors that people can do to demonstrate the thing that I'm looking for? And so those people couldn't explain to me how to do the thing. They couldn't give me any kind of example or understanding of it. They just said, well, don't do what you're doing now. But what can I do? Right? What can I do? They didn't know. And when I figured that out, I stopped listening to those people because it just made me feel bad. And I don't want people to feel bad to go through that experience where just because you don't know something doesn't mean you're less than, doesn't mean that you deserve what you got to put up with, doesn't mean that there's yeah, certainly that you're less than, doesn't mean that. It just means that you don't know right now and you have an opportunity to discover. And so I clearly understand love yourself first means, and I tell people. So that's my conference. It's every year before Valentine's Day, so the weekend before Valentine's Day, because of course, love yourself first. So y'all missed it this time, but it's gonna come around again next year. I got speakers and stuff talking about what it means, connecting with people who want to feel loved and supported, appreciated, and accepted. All those things that I talk about here. And of course, the understanding of loving yourself first. It's all about that. So that was a good question. Had me ranting for a bit. What about y'all? What else y'all got going on? What else is going on with y'all? Any comments or thoughts about this? Are you in those kind of relationships where you're feeling like, oh man, this person, I don't know what to tell them. I know that I don't know how to connect with them. I use this word connect a lot, but I don't know what it is that I don't know how to tell them what I want because I think they may get upset or something like that. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate that. Appreciate the likes. But this is y'all. This is for y'all. I'll be here for another 20 minutes or so. I used to go live for an hour. I started to consider going live in the evenings, but I'm just like, man, I cannot get on here in the evenings. I want to go outside. I want to go out, especially because the weather's nice. I want to go outside and do stuff. Wishing you a wonderful Saturday. Thank you so much, Power and Grace. Appreciate you. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. But connection. Also, if you like what I'm saying, and if you want me to work with you personally as a coach, I'm pretty dope. Um, I am, but I mean, you apply for coaching. I will work with you every day for 3 months. That's pretty much the deal. That's pretty much the deal. We have a conversation. You talk to me as much as you want. You are my focus. I appreciate the things that you do. And I will demonstrate to you. This is why my coaching is so transformative, is that I will demonstrate to you what it means to be heard, understood, and appreciated. And once you feel that, you will not accept it from anybody else. You will not accept half-assy anything from anybody else because you're like, well, there are people out here who can do this. There are people out here who can hear me, maybe disagree, but still understand where I'm coming from and appreciate where I'm coming from. Appreciate the fact that that they talked to me. I'm a person who can do that with people. And there are other people who can do that, especially your friends. They should be people who can do that. Get rid of those other people who don't. How do you deal with people who continuously um, how do you deal with people continuously feeling uncomfortable with you being comfortable in yourself? Oh, this is you. I love, the stick figures have to come out, right? I just can't help it. This is you being all happy. Look at that smile, man. That is so smiley. Look at this person. This is you all happy, and these are hated friends. Hated friends. Look like a big upside down U. Like they're mad. They're like, wait. Look at it, terrible. This is like, and they're mad at you. So these people, and you deal with people continuously feeling comfortable with you being comfortable because they're uncomfortable with you being happy. You're like, yeah, I love myself. I love myself. I'm amazing. I'm great. If you haven't heard Chris and Teeb, that's one of their songs. But this is you being happy. So how do you deal with this person? Well, I don't know. What do you want to do with them? Like, what is it that you want to do? Because this is the big question. Look at their frowny. Like, there's so many options that I could think of. Maybe you could just cut them off. Be like, get out of here. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You want to change them? You want to have them smile in your presence? What is it that you want to do with this person? because that's important. Because otherwise, because when you say deal with, otherwise I can't give you really good advice. So which one do you want? Which one do you want? Let me know, and then I'll act accordingly. What if you identify that you're the toxic one? Congratulations. Holy moly, Lang. Lang Jam. Congratulations. If you recognize you're the toxic one, then you have been enlightened. You have been enlightened. You are recognizing that the impact that you've had on people is not what you desire. You are empowered now to change that. You are empowered now to do something that's absolutely different. What you do not want to do, because you may have this dynamic, you're a smiley person who's just like, I'm just doing my thing, and other people are mad at you. Other people are mad. They're like, just that. You don't realize. But now you have an awareness. Look at you. You have an awareness now. Now that you have an awareness that you are having this impact on your friend, this would change. Like, I'm gonna change that smiley face. Um, that's a concerned face. That's a concerned face. You want to change to figure out what's going on. The one thing that I recommend that you not do is to tell them, I'm going to be better. I recognize that I'm so toxic and I'm just a terrible friend and I do all the things that hurt you. But what you're going to do instead is recognizing those things that hurt you. Make a little list. This is a list. It's a list of things that you do that hurt people. And then you're going to stop doing it. Right? You're going to stop doing those things. You're going to make a concerted, conscious effort to stop doing those hurtful things to other people, because this is not the face that you desire. You don't want people to look like this or to be like this around you. If you do these, you stop telling them, don't tell them, don't profess to them, I'm being a better person for you. That's just you and your ego saying that I want attention and I want praise. Get away from that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just do the thing and they will notice. Provide the experience. Provide the experience by just doing the thing. But congratulations to you if you recognize that you are the toxic person. You are empowered to make a difference in everybody else's life. Nobody has to come at you and tell you you have to change. You just make that decision on your own. You recognize that this isn't what you want, my friends. This isn't what I want, my friends. I want them to be smiley faced. And so I am concerned about what I'm doing. So I'm making a list of the things that I'm doing, and then I'm going to change my behavior. If you change, everything around you changes. All these people change around you. It's quite amazing. It's not you telling people, it's you doing the thing. It's doing the thing. So that's a really great question. So let me get back to you, nothing much, and then I'll get back to you midnight in a minute, midnight memo. But dealing with people who don't like you, or like that you are happy or comfortable with yourself, not necessarily just dealing the negativity, because sometimes it does make me feel bad about ourselves. Well, if we look at this person who recognizes that they're a toxic person, I would say that this is a toxic kind of thing that's happening with you, nothing much in this relationship with this other person or these other people, whoever they are. They're mad because you're happy. Like, oh man, it's up to them. We would love it if they just recognize that they were having this impact on you, but they're not really realizing it. So we'll put this big smiley face back on you and we'll look at this relationship again. And we're like, okay. You're happy and you like yourself, and they're uncomfortable with it and they don't like it. So dealing with the negativity of it, it sounds like you want to continue being in the space with them. It sounds like you want to continue being connected with them and having them make this face at you and just like, let's see. Wait. I was an artist in another life. You see this? And they have like dagger eyes. Look, that's what I'm trying to do. Rawr. And they're just mad at you. And what you want to do is you want to deflect that. This is kind of how you want to live in the space with these people. Like I recognize This is your shield. And you just want to deal, you just want to put up with it. How do you deal with the negativity of it? How do you, essentially what you're asking me is, how do you create this shield? Because they're gonna hate. Haters are gonna hate. They're gonna hate. But you're like, how do I deal with this shield here? How do I create this shield and stop it from affecting me having a good time? It takes a lot of mental effort. It takes a lot of mental effort to do this. And it's not something that I recommend that you do unless they are people that you have to work with. Because anybody I volunteer, like, these people were not people that I want to voluntarily be around, because it takes a lot of mental energy. Imagine materializing some kind of shield in front of you and using that energy to block whatever frustrations or whatever's going on with them. You're asking me how to create this. What you want to do is just recognize that they are people who just feel this kind of way, and it has nothing to do with you. So essentially pretending or focusing on the realm is that they don't control how you feel. They don't control how you feel. I'm going to be happy regardless. Or stepping outside of yourself and being like, I am the observer. I'm observing this reaction. You kind of just leave your whole body. You kind of leave the experience behind, and you're watching from the sidelines. Essentially, you're watching this person stare daggers at you, and you, as a person outside of yourself, defending yourself. Not even defending, but just blocking. Just blocking it. It takes a lot of energy to do that. Takes a lot of energy. So just be like, well, I'm rubber and you're glue, and everything you say bounces off to me and sticks back to you. It's awful. I don't recommend that this is the place that you be. I recommend that you definitely make a concerted effort to push these people away. Like, push these people away. Like, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know who this person is, but I don't like this dynamic at all. It's necessary to be able to hold up your shield, and some people are going to hate and whatever, but if they're, I don't let those people close to me. They just don't get to be close. And I recommend that, you know, you get away from those people too. So I hope that helps, with this, because um it looks like this could be really draining for you. So I'll be like, well, what are these people? Why do I even care? Why do I spend time with these people? It's a useful skill to have if you're going home for the holidays and this is something that you desire to do. And there's one adult who is just like doing this. They don't appreciate you or your life or whatever like that. Sure. Okay. That's a useful skill to have to be able to do that. But otherwise, man, there's no reason to put yourself in a situation like that when there are billions of other people who just want to smile with you. So, what are your suggestions for combating insecurity? Insecurity. Well, combating insecurity, the things that I recommend that you do is, okay, you probably heard this stuff before, Midnight Memo. You probably heard this stuff before, but there's affirmations and understanding more about yourself, like saying positive things about who you are. So, there's three things that I use: affirmations, and then I also talk about gratitude. Gratitude will help you understand situations a lot better. And then there's, or a different point of view rather. And then there's congratulations. So those are three things that you can do to boost your self-esteem. So what confidence is, confidence, all it is this understanding of the world and how you move through it. How you move through it. And people who are confident have this belief that they can do the thing that they intend to do. Like, they can talk to the girl and get the phone number. They can talk to the friend and set up, and the person will be willing to be interested in moving out with, or helping them move out, or going to see a movie with them, or hanging out with them for a certain event. But if you're confident, because what you intend to do will materialize. It's usually going to materialize. So 9 times out of 10, you're comfortable doing the thing. You feel confident because you've seen it happen many, many times before. And when we don't have this confidence, it's because we haven't been able to try to intentionally change the world in some way, talk to somebody and have it go the way we want, do the things and have it work out the way we want. We don't know what that looks like. So it doesn't feel like I understand, or if I can, I'm not sure. I don't know whether or not it'll work out the way I want to. But if you start doing affirmations and saying something like, of course, I I can do this, or I can talk to people the way I want to. It's what it's doing, and I recommend you can write it down, but I recommend that you get as many senses as possible involved in it. So we've got our five senses. We've got the sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. We have those five senses, but as many senses as possible. So writing it down, it involves the touch. Saying it out loud involves you speaking and processing, and then it comes out of your mouth and back into your ears. So you also get that too. So writing it down, you get to seeing it too. And I don't know if you want to use a scented gel pen, then that might help you with that too. But essentially, you want to do all that stuff to program your mind to say, look, I affirm that I can do the thing. So how is it that you want the world to change in the way that you want? And I know I'm making it huge talking about the world, but just give you an example of something that I did to help boost confidence because I was so depressed that I could barely do anything. Like I just felt like I was not able to function or do anything. I had no power in my world. Um I watched this video talking about how some army general or admiral or something said that if you want to change the world, start by making up your bed. I watched that. I somehow got that like maybe 10 years ago. And it was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I can't even do that. Like my bed's not made up. I can't even do that. I don't care to do that. What I did instead is I bought a ring. I got one from Amazon. I was obsessed with these things. And I remember confidence and feeling powerful is changing the world in a way that you desire. Doesn't have to be huge. Doesn't have to be so many people understand the change that you made. Only you need to know that change. And so what I did is I bought a ring, and every single day I took it off at night. I took it off at night. And every single day I put it on my finger. That was the change. That was the change. I was able to get up every day, do exactly what I intended to do, put this ring on my finger. And it was a reminder every single day that I walked out of the house that, wow, this is me. This is I did this. I'm capable of doing something consistently. And this was the start of my journey. And I started making it my bed and doing other things and recognize those things. But affirmations and saying those kind of things. But affirmation, that was an affirmation for me to be able to do that. It really helped me in that feeling of understanding that I can change the world the way I want to. And I had to start with me because I was deathly afraid of other humans. I had to start with me. Like I only needed to know that I'm capable of doing something I set my mind out to, and this was it. That was the thing, and it started to grow, and it started to grow in me talking to people. I also got involved in Toastmasters. I don't know if you're familiar with Toastmasters, International Speaking Club. I highly recommend that you join. You find it, go to toastmasters.org. I would have something in my profile, but I don't. But yeah, so but doing those things. So combating insecurity is just really saying that I have the confidence to change the world in the way I want to. So when somebody like this comes along and say that you cannot change the world in the way that you want to, or you won't believe it. You won't believe it because you have proof. You can look at it. You've got proof. And so you'll feel more secure about that. Your mindset will start to change when you talk about gratitude too. Like, oh yeah, okay, gratitude, like great. Guess they just can't see what I'm doing. And congratulations. Pat yourself on the back for little things that you've done, all those things. So I hope that helps, Midnight. I hope that helps. Yes. I'm glad that it helped. Yeah. So that's the thing. That's what I've done. And it will take you so much further. Take you so much further. But with that said, there's all the kind of I do all this stuff in my coaching program. I work with you every day for 6 months. I said 6 months. I didn't mean 6 months. I meant 3 months. You'll be tired of me. You'll be tired of me after 6 months. After 3 months, it's like you'll be done. But essentially, what we do is we work together, of course, and we help each other. I help you understand more about how people should be treating you, and help you share your thoughts and your real feelings in a safe place. So you're able to talk about how you really feel without without this happening. You don't have to protect yourself. And even I had a client even talk about how they were frustrated with me. And of course, you have the space to do so. Just because I am teaching you doesn't mean that you wouldn't have feelings against the experience that you're having. The whole point is for you and I to be a container in which you can share your feelings authentically, even towards me, because that's what friends do. That you don't have to be like, oh my God, I just hate it. Like, I don't know if I could bring it up to you. No, you're going to ruin our relationship if you don't. You're going to ruin any relationship if you don't. As my client, I don't want you to be a person who is afraid to share what they're thinking and feeling because that's where you're coming from. That's where you're coming from in the first place. I want to be able to provide the best kind of service. And if I'm doing something that hurts you or that frustrates you or that scares you, then now is a space to talk. This is a space to talk. And that's how your friends should treat you. That's how the people in your life should treat you. So that's really important to be able to do that. So what I do is social connections coaching. And one more time, I want to reiterate that I am speaking live today at the TransTech conference. If you haven't checked it out, if you haven't followed me, please do. But the TransTech conference, the link in my profile, you'll find it's the very first thing. There's normally $400 ticket, but the price has been wiped. I put this link in my profile just for today. Of course, the conference I think goes on till tomorrow too, but I just put it in today, so you can go check that out. $400 ticket, free. You get to meet other people, to connect with them about your business, about technology as well. If you're a person who is looking to work in technology, what I'm talking about is building relationships, professional relationships. So it's networking, it's how to identify those people who are going to be supportive of you and your business and how to develop and continue creating that relationship with them. So I appreciate that you came on here. I also got a couple things going on. I've got like a podcast too. If you haven't heard that, I release episodes every Tuesday. I release episodes every Tuesday. So go ahead and check that out. If you want to have a friendly conversation with me, there's a link in the profile too. If you just want to talk for 30 minutes about what's going on with your relationships, we can do that too. All the links in my profile. Go ahead and check that out. Again, I'll be live Monday. I keep saying that. Perhaps I'll come back on later on today, but I don't know because I really like talking in the morning. I know some people are being out here in the evenings, but let's just be in the morning person. That is with me. But I want to thank you so much for coming on. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, I go live, and sometimes you can catch me in between. Thank you so much for your time and your questions. Have a great day. Thanks, Heather. Have a great day, everybody.